have a gift and you're intentional about being blessed to be a blessing, you have to be very intentional about the spaces you inhabit that you decide, you know what, this is where I want to be a blessing. I don't believe in you going any and anywhere. So you have to be intentional and make sure that is being regarded with the level of intention that you intend. So for those of you who don't know, I am an author, but I'm also a community activist, someone who tries in whatever way I can to give back to my community, whether it's mentoring my girls, volunteer on my church, any way I can. So one of the things that I grabbed a hold of 3 years ago is an all-Black author book drive, and basically collecting books by Black authors to make sure that our kids have our voices. If you haven't noticed, those books are being quickly banned from high schools and school libraries. Sadly, South Carolina just enacted a law where if one person deems the book inappropriate and it goes up to our South Carolina Department of Education, that book, if they go up to that committee and they deem that book should not be read in the schools, or even a community group after school, that book cannot be read by any student in the state of South Carolina. We are a small percentage of authors. We're a small percentage of people who are represented on the shelves. And sadly, I reposted a video on TikTok the other day, and I reposted on other outlets where there are a lot of people who have Black people on the cover, but they're not Black people writing the books. So started this book drive 2 years ago, and it was 2 particular back to school drives that I did that I decided this year I was going to do. And at first I felt bad, but then I thought about the intentionality of my project and then how the kids were receptive to the project. The reality is that particular organization that sponsors that back to school bash, those kids get a lot. A lot of businesses come together, they get new shoes, they get haircuts, they get their hair braided, and it's all free. It is a blessing, but in order for them to get the shoes, new shoes at that, new shoes, they have to get their passport signed. So to get their passport signed, they have to attend all the other vendors. And so I find myself looking at kids who, granted last year I was out of books within 40 minutes of the event opening, and granted the event was open for like 3-4 hours. So when I took that visual and I realized those kids, a lot of those kids were not genuinely getting books because they want to get a book. They want to get their passport signed. And I even had some of the parents who literally were like, can you just sign my passport? And I was like, no, you have to pick out a book. And I realized they were just picking something out just to pick something out. And I don't want to be involved in a process like that. So as a result, I had to tell the vendor that, I'm not going to be able to, the organizer, I'm not going to be able to do it this year. And at first I felt bad and it was like, nah. And that's just a lesson to us as business owners, as community activists. You don't have to be involved in everything. Especially if you feel like that people are not receiving it with the intention you hope. So donate to what I'm doing and help support what I'm doing. But don't be afraid that you can't be everywhere. And it's okay.